So let us look at anticipatory breach of contract. Anticipatory means you are not waiting up to the day of the promise. Before that itself, you are saying, I'm going to not perform. Take the example of these, these people who go on world tour, where these actors, actresses, or these singers have to perform in different parts of the world. And there's a group which goes together. Now this promiser, this person who's a singer, let's say, he refuses to perform. When he refuses to perform, the tour is supposed to, let's say, begin on 1st March. On 15th February, he says, I can't perform. Either the promisee can wait. This promisee could be this big banners which are there, right? It could be your A.R. Rahman, who goes on a world tour. So this promisee who is A.R. Rahman, he can either wait till the date of the actual performance and then sue, or he can immediately sue. Other thing that can happen is, or other way when anticipatory breach of contract happens, is the promiser does some act making it impossible to perform. What does the promiser do? This A.R. Rahman has got this tour program where the program is going to be held in Bombay, one part of it, let's say. And this person who has promised to be part of the deal, he goes off to London for some work. And he says he has done this act making it impossible to perform on that particular day. He can't be here on that particular day. Another example which I have put up is, A enters into an agreement to marry B on 15 January, but 15 December itself he marries C. After that, can he marry B? No. And that means you have done some act where it is impossible to perform. Or a more professional example, let me give you. A person says that I will sell this factory to you on so and so date for this consideration, and before that date comes, he has sold it to XYZ person. So what is this? This is breach of contract. It is anticipatory breach of contract. Now, when this happens, what is the other person supposed to do? That is what the point is. What is actual breach? When one party refuses to perform the promise. Let's say party is very much there, but he says, I am not going to perform. What do you do in that particular case? He has not told in advance also. On that day, he says, I'm not going to perform. Then what do you do? This is actual breach. So what is the remedy for breach? Either you can withdraw from the contract. So aggrieved party is discharged, but he has to return the benefits derived. Other legal remedies may be used. One is that. Second is a right of action for damages. That is, a person can sue for damages. Aggrieved party is who? The person who is going to lose out because of this. The aggrieved party will be discharged, but then we have to return the benefits derived. If he has already derived some benefits, it has to be returned. So you will see then who gets the benefit. How does that work? It is not fair. It is not fair, but you can use some other legal remedy. Like what? You can sue for damages. So that the aggrieved party is put in the same position as if the contract is performed. The third is suit for specific performance. He can go to court and say, if this person doesn't perform, then I am in trouble. You have to force him to perform. That is sue for specific performance. Fourth is sue for injunction. Stop that party from doing what he thinks of doing on that day. That also you can approach the court and do it. And sue on quantum meruit. Suppose you have not specified what is the amount to be paid for that particular performance. It is suing on quantum meruit, means as much as is earned. Now that we'll come to it very shortly. So what is the damages? Damages is whatever loss will occur, you have to make good the loss. Normally, you have to make good that loss. It is compensation for the direct loss. Direct loss only, not indirect loss. There could be special damages given, which is anticipated at the time of entering into the contract, then that is also included. Okay, so either the direct loss has to be compensated or special damages which are anticipated at the time of entering into the contract has to be compensated. So this is as per the terms of the contract. So if a singer who is supposed to have come for singing does not come, what is the loss? So many people would not have come, right? Can I anticipate what is the direct loss? Direct loss is that slot is gone, some other singer has to be bought in, for them you may have to pay more. That is direct loss. What is the special damages? Special damages, if this particular Sangha doesn't come, I'm anticipating that I'll lose XYZ amount of money, and that anticipation I am anticipating right at the time of entering the contract, and that damages will also have to be paid. The case of Hadley versus Baxendale is very important in this context. In this context, what it says is there is a breakdown of a shaft in A's mill. Shaft is just a mechanism which is there in the mill. Mill is your grinding mill. Now this shaft, what he did is he gave it to B, who was a common carrier, and this common carrier person was supposed to deliver it to the manufacturer to make a new one. What happened was A did not inform B that if he delays there will be a loss of profit. And B, what he did was he neglected it and he let it be there. He delivered the shaft only later, beyond a reasonable time. But still it was held in this case that B is not liable. Why? Because A did not inform B that the delay will result in loss of profits. One is liquidated damages. Liquidated damages is whatever you have agreed upon as per the terms of the contract. Then there is unliquidated damages. That is damages which will be assessed by the court and granted. In that you have got several varieties. One is ordinary. Just the loss, whatever occurs, the court will assess the loss and decide that this is the damages to be given. The second is special damages. That is loss apart from the ordinary which both parties are aware of. If the court feels that there will be extraordinary losses, that will also be granted, assessed by the court and granted. Third is exemplary. They want to ensure that this party never does such a thing again. Take the case of an example of a singer only. They want to ensure that this singer never does such things to another person again, because it will be something like making an example out of that singer. So the court will give them exemplary or punitive damages, which is very, very high amount. So like if you dishonor a check, the smaller the amount of the check, the greater will be the compensation. That sort of extraordinary damages will be given. Exemplary, you make an example out of that person. And the fourth is nominal. Actual loss is not there, so you just give a token damage is granted. How to calculate this damage? Now in a contract for sale of goods, how will you calculate? When the buyer breaks the contract, what happens? The contract price and market price, whatever is the difference, is the damage. Where the seller retains the goods after the contract has been broken, then the seller cannot recover. That is one part. Why? Because he still has the goods, he can still sell it to somebody else. Now this is the law with respect to sale of goods and the damages thereto. Liquidated damages means what? That which is written, right? So if the contracting parties have fixed it at the time of contract, then you will give the liquidated damages. If it is not specified, then only you will go to penalty. In courts in England, they usually give effect to liquidated damages, but it will be against penalty. That is, penalty may also be granted in certain cases. In Indian law, there is no difference while levy. Reasonable compensation up to a stipulated amount will be granted. What is the difference? Difference is the way the compensation or punishment is imposed. What is the assessment of the amount of loss based on actuals or otherwise? And English law recognizes this difference. We don't recognize it much.